what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a few slides that are going to quickly bring you through our school and some of the programs that we offer. And hopefully these will start now fairly quickly. Yeah, should be screen sharing there. Can you just make sure, Laura, that that's okay?
Yeah, it's not in presenter, but I can see
Yeah,
your
I'm just
slides. Yeah.
switching over now. That's great. Okay, um, obviously, yeah, we're with the School of Biosystems and Food Engineering. We are a relatively small school. We've around 21 faculty. We have an administrative team as well as a technical team supporting that, and we have two engagement staff, which are, engaging with our students and engaging with the stakeholders and engaging with the different faculty members as well. At the moment, we have around 300 plus full-time equivalent students in the school, and we have a really strong research emphasis in our school, very research-led programs. Um, that means currently we have around 60 to 60, at any given time, we have between 60 and 70 PhD students in the school. So this really helps embed research in the modules, and that type of research experience is very rich throughout each of our programs. Okay, so some of the main themes and where our programs and our education and research sit within the school. We have food and bioprocess engineering. We also look really at circular bioeconomy and green energy. We do a lot of data analytics and data work in our school with biosystems analysis and biosystems modeling. And then we also have a strong emphasis on environmental and agricultural technologies and how sensors, data capture, both the design of systems for those and the data use and characterization and analysis, and how that can be used to improve um, uh, uh, agricultural and different types of biosystems. So really sustainability is at the core of all of these different strands of activity within our school, and that is really underpinned within our programs. So what do we really mean by biosystems and food engineering? Um, so we're very much a systems thinking, systems approach across all of our programs. Um, in response to the challenges we observe and we deal with on a daily basis with regards to our increasing global population, and how we can address a lot of the issues that are presented to us. So we try to take and we try to teach a sustainable systems thinking approach, whether that be for food, water, or energy systems engineering and the goods that come from all of those. We really provide a very solid underpinning in the technologies and the policies and the ways to implement that we can implement a transition to a circular and a bioeconomy. Um, so very often we're looking at data and informing those decisions that can bring us from a linear to a circular economy. So essentially, all of the programs are about finding solutions, solving problems, taking an engineering approach and a scientific engineering approach to arrive at sustainable life systems and how we can operate within planetary boundaries and planetary health. So we have a range of graduate taught masters programs. I know this is taught masters week. So we have a 2-year ME. So that's a Master of Engineering in Biosystems and Food Engineering. And from that, if you choose to do this program, and if you graduate from this, you're eligible, you have a Chartered Engineer qualification because that program has been accredited by Engineers Ireland, and graduates of that program are accredited to be a Chartered Engineer. Our other programs then are 1-year taught masters programs. And the first one there, we have the Masters in Sustainable Energy and Green Technologies. So this is a mix of data systems analysis, energy systems analysis, and really solid understanding of the technologies underpinning that, how we can do separation, fractionation, how we can do use different biomass resources and approach different things, policy implementation as well in the area of sustainable energy and the green technologies underpinning sustainable energy. We have a lot of ongoing research in this area from an EU project project perspective, and a lot of new infrastructure as well within the school supporting that theme. The next one there is our Masters in Digital Technologies for Sustainable Agriculture. So this is really looking at data, sensors, and how these can be used to support a more systems and analytical approach in food production and agricultural systems. Following on from that, we have the MSc in Environmental Sustainability Implementation. This can either be a 1-year master's program, or there are multiple pathways into it through certificates, diplomas, and add-on masters and things like that. And the reason we have this as very, very flexible approach is to enable those in the workplace to upskill in this area, because it's a really it's an area of significant demand, and the skill sets are in significant demand. So it's really about sustainability metrics, sustainability characterization, the data underpinning and understanding of sustainability, and how a person can then bring that learning and an understanding of the regulations and the instruments that are used to capture and manage the data underpinning those, the compliance with those regulations, and how they can implement that in their companies, and really design, drive, and implement the sustainability agenda for companies. The next one then is the MSc in Environmental Technology. So this is really a bit different in that it is really focused on the technological side of things, and what instrumentation, what technological approaches, what analytical approaches we can apply to resolving environmental problems. And then the next 2 masters that we have are actually collaborative masters programs. They're not just based in UCD. One is the Food 4S program, which is an MNGSC in Sustainable Food Systems Engineering and Business, and this is in partnership with KU Leuven Porto, University of Porto, and also Hohenheim University in Germany. And then the last one there that we have is our new MSc in Sustainability Engineering Leadership, which really is a collaborative program with our partners in Northeastern University in America. So it's 1 year in America and 1 year in Ireland. So there's a wide range of options there. And sorry, the one that I left out there was also our MNGSC in Food Engineering. So this is a straightforward 1-year food engineering taught master's program. These are just some images, I think, of some of the field trips to industry that we have. It just shows a focus of some of the activities that we have in the school. We put a lot of emphasis on embracing the diversity and different cultural aspects of our school. And we have a lot of whole school engagement events, and we utilize UCD's fantastic Global Lounge facilities on a regular basis to host these events. It's just a really nice environment to host some of the events we have in the school. And then one of the photographs there is obviously where everybody would hopefully end up at a graduation, which are also always very lovely events. So your student journey with the School of Biosystems and Food Engineering is basically, if you choose to go down your educational pathway with us, we normally have a local induction as well as a college level induction. As I said, we're a small school that enables us to meet as a whole school, which is really, really great. And we can get to know each other and have really quite close connections. We utilize, as I said, a lot of the UCD global resources. I don't need to go into that in huge detail here. There's, separate events for that, but UCD is very much a global campus and has great supports for our global community. And there's also college and school level supports. Embedded within each of our programs, each of our 1-year and our 2-year programs, we have specific modules for research, teaching, and career education. And this really supports, one of the main facets of that is actually to underpin 2 aspects. One is we obviously want you to be able to seek employment and gain employment in Ireland or any other European or international region. So we support training in that regard, and also practice sessions in that regard with local employers. And then also the other part of those aspects is really embedding research skills, so you can deliver on an individual research project with one of our leading researchers in the school. So how you learn, we have lectures, obviously, we've got laboratory sessions, we have lots of problem-based learning, we've got lots of design challenge modules, there's field trips. I was just back yesterday from a field trip to the NACE Global Innovation Centre with Kerry as a company, fantastic field trip there. Other industry visits to processors and to national infrastructural sites. And then each student then gets to do a full term 30 ECTS research dissertation with one of our excellent research faculty. So here we've got an emphasis on both individual work within your research project, but also teamwork is embedded throughout each of the modules, because that is also very, very important of practical aspects of when you go back out into the real world. Our infrastructure is varied. We have a sequence of relatively small labs. These are just some images showing some of the instrumentation that we've been able to put in place in the last number of years with regards to a very high level analytical and characterization equipment, but also cutting edge processing equipment as well, such as the image there with the non-thermal plasma processing of grains. Not only do we have a very strong research emphasis, we also have a very strong innovation emphasis. So we have a lot of people on the staff and in the school who are actually innovating, and that's just a little bit different than research in that they actually go and set up companies, they develop products, they license their intellectual property, and they develop that aspect of their research. So it's really embedding it into real world applications. So some of those slides, which I can circulate to everybody afterwards, kind of just provide some of the details of the individual programs and the program director responsible for them. I've already given you a quick run through, but also in the slides, it just shows some of the main employers, I suppose, from our programs as well. So we've a few of these companies are highlighted here. Some of these are large manufacturing companies, some of them are engineering consultancy companies. Some of them are energy companies, some of them are food companies. But basically, our alumni are varied. We have a lot of them working in Ireland still and internationally, and some of the roles they've gone into. In more recent years, are renewable energy engineers, food product development roles, process engineers in manufacturing sites, environmental engineers in manufacturing and waste sites, product or process sustainability engineer, sustainability consultants. So there's a few different words coming on the sustainability piece there. Quality is always a main area for a lot of production and manufacturing, so that always comes in there. Obviously, with the emphasis that we have on your individual thesis and managing your time and managing tasks, project managers, a lot of our graduates actually go into project management roles as well. And some people go on and do PhDs as well. So I'm going to leave it there and thank you very much for your attention. And I'm going to pass you on to a number of our recent graduates who are going to give you some of their experiences now of how they got through the program and what they're doing now. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula. There's some really great and really interesting programs that offer within your school. So there's really something there for anyone listening. And so yes, we are going to hand you out over to James now, who is a recent alum of our Food Engineering Masters program. So we're really excited to hear about how you've got on. So James, I'm going to hand it over to yourself.
Hello, thank you, Laura. My name's James Nyange, and I'm going to share my screen, take you through my experience in UCD, School of Biosystems and Food Engineering. To start with, I'm originally from Kenya, like born Kenyan, and I moved to Ireland in 2021. That's in September to join in food engineering. That's Master of Engineering Science in Food Engineering. And now I'm a current alumni of the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering. So to start with, I did my undergrad in Mombasa, that's in Kenya, in food technology and quality assurance. And one of the module that is food engineering made me go on to do my master's in the University College Dublin. So what motivated me while I was in the process of looking for the program and also to go on for my postgrad studies. So I was looking for any colleges that always offer food engineering. And when I came across the food engineering in UCD, I was so impressed because of the modules that it was offering and also the admission process. So in addition to my work experience, I've been working in the food industry, in the fruit processing, in sugar industry, as well as in research setup. So I got interest of joining the food engineering in UCD. So I made my application, and by that time, and then I was successful to join the UCD. The process was very smooth, and in during my time of studies, that's in food engineering masters. It was full of good experience, and this program offered me the novel technologies, life cycle assessment, was very, very important to me because I'm someone who's looking through the sustainability. Even in my previous job, I was looking on the energy conservation in the fruit processing plant. I was looking also on the bread waste during my time in the research sector. So this program also offered a lot on the food safety, the food integrity, the fraud in combating the food fraud as well as the food security. So this was in line with my ambition, and I was really impressed to join this program. Furthermore, as the head of school has just talked about, there was also the industry visits, and during this time you get to interact with different industries which you visit, and then it can lead also to you getting the either the internship or uh, the program after your studies, which is really, really impressive. Uh, just to add on, research experience is really great within the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering. And it's good that the previous speakers talked about. And this is whereby we have a lot of uh, uh, we have a lot of the professors and also the researchers being highly cited, and at the same time they give you the top-notch experience research skills. To add on that, in the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering, this is where I got my first publication. And when you do your thesis, it's always regarded that you do your publication, and this is boosting your experience in terms of doing research, and also boosting your experience in terms of when someone is going for the research assistant roles, someone is going to work with some industries or in the government, and as well as also maybe you are going to do your PhD. And this is my time of while I was in the school, and I was working in this hyperspectral imaging, a very great novel processing technology, which was really important for me and to work within different industries. So I successfully graduated in 2022. And what happened next after my graduation? This program really provided me with the great platform. But before I share about my post study experience and also the jobs that I've ever worked with, I would like to share with you some of the great support that you get while you are being a student in UCD. One of them is when you live in UCD, the UCD residences always have something called the Rest Life. And the Rest Life, it's always supports students both who live in the UCD and anyone who lives outside. If you don't have some of the, you are not able to get some of the accommodation, they offer some assistance. They offer the international experience whereby you interact with different nationalities from different places. And this is really great because here you get to learn about uh, both students in the same program in your school and within the faculty itself, and later you come to learn about all the experiences within the student fraternity. So my time in within the school was really great in terms of that. I got to enjoy some social campus life. They organize most of the uh, maybe the activities such as maybe the cinema and all that. And at the same time, there is also the societies within the school, and within the societies as part of the student within the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering, you are qualified and you are able to join the Engineers of Ireland. And it was really, really a great experience because the Engineers of Ireland board always come to UCD during the academic year and then they showcase some of the possible career paths and how to join. It is a great news that being a student within the school, you are almost assured of being a student engineer, and subscription to that is very, very low and minimum. Furthermore, the reason why it's really good for you to study in UCD is because also there is a support system in terms of the alumni program itself, and we have always the engagement alumni talks, and there is a buddy program, and this is where they always link the current students with the previous alumni, and it will be really good for you to join the program, and later also you give back to the society, or you give back to the current students who will be in the session. So if you join UCD, be assured of getting some of the uh, of the mentorship programs. So just to add on, there is also the UCD career, which is also very, very vital and important. And being part of the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering, I'm glad to inform you that there is a they always take you through your CV writing, through your cover letter. At the same time, there is also the UCD fair. You can do the Zoom, the mock interviews, and how also to interact. There also some of the job prospects within the UCD career, which you get support as being part of the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering. And then lastly, there was always the career fairs, which always happen in every academic year. So I would really urge you that if you get the best course to join is the best school to join is UCD. That's the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering, and you'll be in a good position to advance. And as I was mentioning, the studying food engineer, Masters of Engineering and Food engineering course enabled me to work with the international companies and get the research experience. I worked with the EU and China, worked with Tilon, and Tilon is one of the prospective industries which always absorb most of the graduates from the School of Biosystem and Food Engineering. I also got to work with the Britvic, Ireland, within the R&D section. So in these prospects, you are kind of developing your experience that you gain from college or from the classroom into the real world scenario, whereby I was also working as the wellness innovation technologist. And because of the high level of innovation within the school, you are rest assured that after your graduation, you are able to perform as per required and as per the standard. So to add on, I also worked with the UCD as a research coordinator. So because of my studying in UCD has really impacted me with the high level of research experience, which is very, very great in terms of writing the review papers, in terms of collaboration and all others. So being part of the school, you are assured of getting the experience, research experience, and also within the collaboration and connection. Furthermore, you joining the school will also give you a contact with the for those who are within the agriculture and also in the research sector. You can join the Chegas. These are the prospective employers within Ireland. And maybe if you don't want to go direct into the industry, there's also a possibility of you joining the PhD with high level and high scale of innovating a product, and also in terms of doing a best research, which will really propel you. So that's part of my experience being part of UCD, and it was really great journey, and I always be a UCD blood within the biosystem and food engineering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Really great to hear your experience and how you enjoyed your time with us in UCD. So we are going to hand over now to Ashley, who is a graduate of our Sustainable Energy and Green Technologies program. So we're going to hear about Ashley's experience.
Thank you, Laura. I'm super delighted to be here. Pardon me because I'm kind of a bit under the weather, so if I pause or just bear with me. Now I just share my screen now. I hope it is visible.
It is,
So let me
yes.
introduce myself. I'm Ashley Anthony. I did my master's in sustainable energy and green technologies from UCD School of Biosystems Engineering, and currently working as a process and sustainability engineer with Trifold Resources Limited. Now, I would like to share my experience. I've been to all the aspirants. I've been in your shoes like 2 years before. I had a similar webinar like this, which made me decide to like choose for a course which would align with my interests. And fortunately, UCD had that offering, and I'm grateful that they accepted me and I had the chance to do the course. But while doing that, the goals which I had in my mind, why should I choose that course? I checked for whether the course is like really ranked, and fortunately, UCD's course was ranked number 1 in Ireland and 49th globally, according to US World Records. And then I was checking whether they have the industrial exposure. So those are the things which I had in my mind, whether they would be able to. And fortunately, UCD had those things. Like they had the reputation in renewable energy, they had interdisciplinary learning, they were really lenient with that thing. And industry connections like AirGrid, Panda, then ASHRAE lead standards, U21. And I would say like Ireland's growing clean energy section and UCD have a really great supportive environment for education. Now, coming to the modules which we have, the ones which I like most is energy systems, modeling and sustainability analysis and advanced air pollution and LCA. Of course, they have a plethora of other modules, depending on your course, of course. But these stood out for me and kind of liked and kind of resonated with that. You get to see the hands-on experience with softwares like Homer Pro, Gabby, ArcGIS, Clearview, Revit. So wonderful, like to get experience how the industry works, and then you get to do it by yourself as well. So I also got the chance to do some real work projects. I was able to work with AirGrid on a cleaner initiative and ASHRAE green building design project. Then I got to work with RISE SDGs goals. And yeah, I would say usually have like a comprehensive package of all the skills, like technical skill, your personal skills, your professional skills. They have the industrial exposure, extracurricular as well. But I'd say it's up to you to though. It's up to you that you have to balance everything. They have everything to offer, but at the end of the day, it'll come up to you whether you'd be able to balance it out. Uh, Now, explaining about my course, how it helped my career. Again, like just I said, that had like a really good, solid technical background and studies and industrial exposure. So I was able to do the projects and I was able to know the field a bit more, and which helped me in securing and I mean securing a job. And of course, the projects became a bit more easier, I would say. And definitely it boosted my confidence and competency for the roles as well. Now, so let me give a brief time of my time with UCD, with the extracurriculars which I did. So I did a student podcast and a book launch, Air Grid, Cleaner Grid projects, ASHRAE Green Building Design Project, then UCD RISE Awards, NOAA UCD's innovation project, a bit of micro internships and research assistants. And I would say this UCD is one of the best university to have a research done on. They have a really good panel, really good and professors like industry experts that would help you a lot. Coming to what UCD offers for students, as James said, they have a brilliant career service. They check to your CVs from A to C. They'll help you with your cover letters, and they have a really good the job fairs, which would help you a lot as well. Coming to academic supports and stuff, the UCD professors are super approachable. Uh, they are brilliant in their own ways. Like Professor Paula Brooke, I would say Professor Kevin McDonald, Professor Joseph Sweeney, and Tom Curran. They are all like experts in their fields, and it's really great to learn from. We get to learn from them as well. So one of the other things which helped me gel in and kind of feels a bit ease was the communities and clubs that UCD have. They have a plethora of communities and clubs, and it's really, I would suggest like you join a few and explore them if you have the chance. For international students, UCD Global would be a great go-to if you have any issues or like if you have to mingle or anything. And of course, if you have anything, UCD Union are always there to help you out as well. For as an international student, I hail from India. So as an international student, this was my first time traveling internationally, and it was so welcoming here in UCD that didn't feel that bad, and I was happy to be here in the UCD campus. They have these clubs, events, and it will help you out, network, and connect with more people. And it would also give you the opportunity to enjoy yourself as well. Personally, I like cycling. The nature in UCD is also really good, and I like the vibe the campus has. I would tell you like it's not gonna be smooth sails, but as you know, like it would be a struggle at sometimes, but of course it would be beautiful at other times. It's just the balance is the key, I would say. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you make the right choice. And if you want to reach out, please feel free to reach out. That's my LinkedIn profile. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Again, really great to hear the experiences of our alumni and how the school and what the school has to offer for our students, which is great. So we have some time before we finish the webinar, just with a couple of questions that we've had come in. So I'll start getting through them now. And if anyone listening has any further questions you want to pop in the chat just as we're going along, please feel free to do that. So Paula, I might just throw this question to yourself is so we obviously have a 2-year program within your school and then a number of 1-year programs. What is the difference between doing a 2-year program within your school and a 1-year program? And maybe there's also a follow-up question: what is the benefit of being a chartered engineer?
Sorry, I lost the button for my audio there. Um, so the difference between the 1 year and the 2 years. So 1 year programs are just exactly that. So it is over the full 12 months. So you get the autumn trimester, the spring trimester, and the summer trimester, and you're a full-time student for the full year. With the 2 year program, you're not necessarily in attendance for the full summer. You tend to do an internship. Well, as part of the 2 year program, there is an internship, so professional internship, a professional work placement, is a significant part of that 2 year program. So that is something you're assisted with, and you're actually placed in industry, and then you come back into the university to complete your studies, and then also then follow on with your research thesis. So there's a different element introduced into the 2 year program with a professional work experience program. The 1 year program, it is a taught MSc or MS Eng SC program. The 2 year program is an ME, so it's a Master of Engineering. They're slightly different. So in order to be to qualify as a chartered engineer, the programs are accredited as such by professional engineering organizations, and that means you're meeting particularly are particular competencies and particular learning outcomes that are associated with the engineering profession. So you're actually graduating as an engineer. This doesn't mean that somebody who graduates from a one-year program can't do that either or can't go into similar roles. They can, but if they want to qualify as a chartered engineer or be recognized as a chartered engineer and potentially set up a consultancy firm of their own or work in design projects, aspects like that, then they may well need to add on work experience and then subsequently apply through a professional engineering organisation such as Engineers Ireland. One of the advantages of that, I think that was the third part of the
Yeah.
question. So, what are the advantages of doing an accredited program that leads to a chartered engineer? So, lots of programs are professionally accredited. So that means that Engineers Ireland might also accredit other BSc or Bachelor of Engineering programs. But when it's an ME, then you're actually a chartered engineer. So the benefits of that chartered engineering status is that that enables you to work in the capacity of an engineer internationally, and that it's recognized as such. So if you set up a firm or if you go and work for an engineering consultancy firm, your qualification is as valid in Ireland as it is in the States, as it is in Australia, as it is in other parts of the world. It's professionally recognized. So that's really the difference.
Great, that's very clear. Thank you. And then in terms of food engineering in particular, someone's asking what opportunities does maybe doing the food engineering masters versus maybe doing a bachelor's in food science or food technology, kind of what industries it might open up, and is there a financial aspect to it that you're getting maybe into higher paid roles? Or just basically what advantages maybe doing the master's in that rather than sticking with just a bachelor's in food science or food technology?
Okay, so our food engineering program, to my current knowledge, is the only food engineering program in Ireland. And food science and food engineering programs are quite different. There are some bits that can be the similar and people can go down pathways of interest to them, but the food engineering is really to do with the production, the processing, the manufacturing, and all of the components that come into those processes, how they're managed, how they're characterized, how they're analyzed, how they're produced into products, how they're then, packaged and preserved, etc. It's a little bit different from the food science aspect, which often focuses, not always, but often focuses on the fundamental scientific principles underpinning a product or a food component in relation to its nutrition, in relation to its quality characteristics, and in relation to, its keeping quality, etc. But also in food science, there's often a focus on sensory, so organoleptic properties of foods, and product development, food product development. Um, there can be some overlap, depending on people's interests, but really a food science program is more about the actual food, the characteristics of the food itself, and maybe the nutritional benefits or the sensory properties of it. And then from a food engineering perspective, it's more about the processing, the production, and the engineering and the manufacturing of those products and the technologies underpinning that, and how they're actually engineered and put together, and how the data comes to inform those processes and the control of those processes.
Yeah, that's great. And then there's just a follow-on question from that was, is the food engineering program accredited? And then I think the second part of it is recognized internationally. So maybe James can speak to the international part, but just is the food engineering program accredited?
Yes, thank you. To answer that, it is a fully accredited program within UCD and also recognized with the higher learning for the other programs within Ireland. So as long as it is recognized within Ireland and all the Ireland qualification within the QQI, it is recognized internationally. So that's why when I was looking for the program, and then I got it in that UCD was one of the almost only the university which offers it. I had to run for that very fast. And also to add on just what Paula has talked about, the food engineering aspect, it also entails about ensuring that there is always modeling section of the food processing technologies, so you can come up the automation processes and also the analysis behind the automation system, the computerized analysis. So it's very, very important that you take also note of that, and you can get into modeling different food principles.
Great, thank you very much. And then there was another question, just is for the ME in Biosystems and Food Engineering, is the placement paid?
It can be. It really depends. We do try and get paid work placements, so they are professional work placements, so they are treated as employment. But um, sometimes they're not, and there is flexibility in that somebody might do 12 weeks or 16 weeks or 12 weeks with one employer and then do a follow on, because you have to reach a certain amount of weeks, and maybe not all of those weeks might be paid. You might kind of join things up, but we would strive for paid professional work placement.
Yeah, and if it's part of the 2-year program, it's part of the curriculum. We have 2 internship managers in the university who do a lot of that relationship building with the companies, and they will present you with a suite of options that you can apply for. You could also look for your own opportunities as well. And the companies really value the experience of students. So as Paula said, we strive to get them paid, and a lot of companies do pay the students because they appreciate the work the students are going to be doing for them. But it's up to the company if and how much. And then there was one or two questions that came in as part of the registration. I think we've covered a lot of it in the content today. But Paula, there was just one question around the content of the programs we have in UCD. And I'm gonna guess the answer, but is it static or does it change depending on what's going on in industry or what's going on in research? Is it influencing the content of your programs?
Of course, we change and adapt our programs um, on a regular basis. Our programs are reviewed externally, and our school went through one of those review processes just last year. So we've implemented a number of changes, but um, we do always take on, what way things are going. So, for example, particularly within food engineering and indeed sustainable energy and green technology, and it's really relevant for all of our programs, the use of data and the emergence of artificial intelligence and the integration of skill sets underpinning your ability to take advantage of and really understand properly and take advantage of those emerging technologies is something we embed in. We don't necessarily have modules called AI in whatever, it's just embedded throughout all of the things. So we've also integrated some programming languages into some of the modules as well. And also then, as I said, our school is very research led. So most of our professors are are really integrating cutting edge um, advances into their daily work, and that naturally comes back then into the modules as well. So there is a continuous cycling of change. These are taught master's programs as opposed to an undergraduate program where you're getting the fundamentals. We're going to assume that you have a lot of those fundamentals and really bring you up to speed with some of the key areas, where roles and where industry and where, questions still remain unanswered and where there's a lot of opportunity.
That's great. That's really good. So I think that's all the open questions that we have for the webinar today. So unless anyone has any further questions, we'll wrap up there. And just to let you know that if you do have any follow-up questions or you would like any additional resources, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I've just popped mine and my colleague Katie O'Neill's email addresses in the chat. So please do reach out to us if you want to get in touch after today. And then thank you very much to our speakers for your time and your insights today. And thank you to our attendees for joining us and giving us some great questions to answer as well. So I really hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And that's all from us. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks,
Thank
Jane.
you.
Take care.